Welcome to Finding Monster Ride, the Halloween show about Halloween finding Halloween monsters. Halloween?
Halloween.
We're not doing vampires.
That's not a joke either. We just...
It really... Okay, I will be the first to admit that I'm not funny.
No. I'm not funny all 12 months of the year. My name is Adam.
And I ain't afraid of no ghost. I'm afraid of aliens. That's our title for this episode.
Yes, where we explore the primal fears of the unknown. And by unknown, one of them is a lot more scary than the others, as we discussed before the show.
Yes, I proposed as an episode topic, ghost versus aliens, which is scarier. A good old-fashioned spook-off for the ages, really, if you think about it. This is our Halloween showdown. Our smackdown in the jack-o'-lanterns. Our trick-or-treat.
Let's get ready to pump.
Wow. We're not doing good.
No, we're very rusty.
Pressing the big red button here. Okay. So
let's get ready to Blood Bowl!
That'll do it. Punch Bowl, maybe. But so we determined very quickly after I proposed this that neither of us are afraid of ghosts, and I am afraid of aliens, and I think Adam might be as well.
Yeah, there's definitely, and we corresponded on this because there was a period of time, like, you know, I guess middle school age, kind of 6th and 7th grade, where I personally, it was like, you know, oh, you get really into supernatural stuff and you start to spook yourself out a little too much.
Mm-hmm. I think lots of people around that age go through kind of a weird, like, occult or like conspiracy or just a monstery kind of age. Like, you know, there's like every teenage girl goes through a phase where they think that they're like, they have like a witch or something, or like a Ouija board dealy.
Yeah.
Everyone like has like a maybe that spider bit me.
Yeah. Everyone kind of is sitting back on their couch and they see a remote in front of them and they try to bring a little closer to them.
Yeah. There's a bit that was cut out of the Colin Trevorrow cut of episode 9 where Hux tries to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Where he tries to, like, use the Force to just pick stuff up because he's, like, a Jedi Sith fanboy. I'm really upset that got cut. That's very good.
I think it's worth noting that the cast of Star Wars, not the scary aliens.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, all aliens, even if they look human.
Well, I decided to give ghosts and aliens a fair shakedown. And so what I did was I watched a piece of media that was scary, that was about ghosts, one that was scary that was about aliens, one that wasn't scary about aliens, and one that wasn't scary about ghosts.
And I watched.
And you watched. The first movie I watched was Dark Skies.
Yes. Give us a rundown.
So, there's this suburban family in a suburb that's already kind of creepy by virtue of being a suburb. And
thank you, Rod Sterling.
Yes, pretty much. Thank you, suburbs. And I started watching this around midnight when I was home alone one night, and I just, like, after surrounding myself with every edged weapon in the house, I realized I can actually just wait and watch this at noon tomorrow.
Yeah, the suburbs get kind of very quiet at night.
Yeah, well, it's about that's very true. There's like a single dog barking, which the movie tells us is because of aliens.
Yeah. What else? I'm not too familiar with Dark Skies. What other alien connections drop down in middle America?
Well, people start just like going catatonic and just standing stock still and screaming and getting nosebleeds and that kind of thing, and the kids are acting weird, and it's a very slow ramp up to, like, the mom going into the kid's room, and there's, like, a jump scare where there's a big, tall, like, gray alien looming over his bed. They buy a home security system, and they do the thing where horror movie characters don't know they're in a horror movie, but they're really bad at selling it. And it's just, like, the dad is just refusing to acknowledge that maybe it's aliens, even after, like, 800 birds hit all their windows all at the same time.
Actually, now that you mentioned, I think I've seen this one before. Do the kids all go to bed and they wake up and the parents aren't there, and then they have kind of like they go crazy all across town, and then they learn the aliens took their parents, so they rig up an amusement park rides to travel through space to rescue their parents, right?
Yeah, actually, and Patrick Stewart is the egg alien.
Right. Okay. Never mind. I am familiar with Dark Skies. This is the scary poll.
This is the scary one, yes, and
okay.
I will say, Act 1 and Act 3 are kind of scary, but Act 2 is just kind of like the characters not acting like people. And also, there's the aliens frame the parents for child abuse. There's an off-brand Google search montage, my favorite scene in any movie.
Yeah, man. You gotta get that Amazing Spider-Man Bing search going.
Oh, yeah. And plus, J.K. Simmons shows up.
Does he want anything?
Does
he want blanks of the aliens?
He is resigned to the fact that the aliens cannot be photographed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's his one weakness. Well, he's a conspiracy theorist, and he's a victim of the Greys, and he posits to the family that there are people that have been touched by the Greys in these ways before, and essentially aliens already took over the world and have been kind of like ruling it as this shadow conglomerate, and their motivations are unclear and very unknown, and the methods that the aliens employ are kind of silly and dreamlike towards the end, but ultimately, I think this was the scariest piece of media that I watched for this.
All right.
And there was a dog who was a very good boy.
Well, that's good.
All the alien, like, visions and illusions and stuff that they used were not nearly as scary as the actual aliens.
Yeah, right. Bringing to mind it's a little more rural than suburban, but Signs comes to mind. With the way that the aliens are portraying that, even a kind of a crappy M. Night movie, are very. He holds his cards tight to his chest, and when they appear, it's a big spookum.
It is a big spookum. But anyway, so I stopped watching Dark Skies about an hour in on a night when I was home alone, and I started at 1 a.m. watching Poltergeist.
Okay. Well, I have questions about this experiment. I don't know if the same environment was replicated.
It's the exact same environment.
Yeah.
But 1 hour later.
Yeah, I'm good. Alright, so Poltergeist is a film about a ghost.
Yes, there is a ghost in the movie. Have you seen it?
Let's see. Does someone eat a pie?
Adam... No one eats a pie. Over the course of Poltergeist, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, then
Pizza is discussed at one point, but besides that, no.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one, no.
This is the They're Here movie. About maybe like 5 or 10 minutes in, the national anthem plays and the broadcast day ends because it's the 80s. And, like, there's static on the screen, and the little girl says, "They're here." And I was like, oh, good. Now I don't know anything else about the movie.
That's good. I don't know what's wrong with my brain this week. It may be involved with aliens or ghosts. Perhaps we'll diagnose it by the end. But every time you mention a movie, I just think of another movie. And when you said They're Here, I thought of They're Back, the 93 dinosaur movie.
Oh, we'll get into They're Back, a dinosaur story.
Oh, no, I don't want to.
Oh, we will. But it's a movie that starts with John Goodman as a Tyrannosaurus playing golf and gets weirder from there. But Poltergeist is a Steven Spielberg production. It is a classic of the horror genre. It's the movie that Dark Skies is pretty much beat for beat ripping off, and it isn't scary at all.
Do you think that you kind of seeing it second had an effect? If you already knew a lot of the beats from Dark Skies.
Well, I only watched the first hour or so of Dark Skies.
So even the second half of Poltergeist didn't get your goose.
No, not a single goose gotten. No Jack and the Beanstalk here. It was a fun movie. I had a great time watching it, but it was not any scarier than Jaws or any given Indiana Jones movie or Jurassic Park, and certainly not scarier than E.T., which we will also get into.
Yeah, that Steven Spielberg has that kind of a family fun angle on most of his stuff.
Yeah, it was really, like, I had only heard about it as a horror movie. I didn't know it was kind of like a kid's horror movie. Like, I don't see an adult being scared by this. The only scene that I did find kind of scary was the scene where the clown doll strangles the kid.
Mm-hmm.
The boy, I guess, specifically. There are multiple kids in the movie. But
well, yeah, it's a PG, so...
Is it PG?
It's literally PG.
Well, I mean, it's pre-Temple of Doom, right?
Oh.
So that's back in the day when PG meant anything between PG and PG-13.
Yeah, it's 2 years before Temple of Doom. Then Steven Spielberg pushed it a little too far.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom is also PG.
Temple of Doom is good.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts of it that are very bad, but...
Yeah, I am on... I don't like Temple of Doom as much.
I like the villain in Temple of Doom. I do not like the implications of the villain in Temple of Doom, but I love that guy in his cool skull hat.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
But this is not a time for Indiana Jones love, Dr. Jones. This is we're talking Poltergeist. I really liked the medium lady that they called in. The small medium who they called in. She was great. Like, practically everything she said. I audibly shouted, "Yes, Queen, get it," which, because I was actively, like, up at 3 a.m. watching Poltergeist.
Yeah, right. It was... Again, apologies. My brain just hooks onto the word medium, and I'm thinking of too many different things. I'm thinking of Jumanji. I don't know why I got to Jumanji.
A little bit like that, I guess. There's adults and kids in a supernatural thing. There's a portal. Well, one thing that I realized from Poltergeist is the reason why I'm not afraid of ghosts, and I said as much in the zombie episode.
Yeah.
I am a ghost possessing a body full of crunchy bits and squishy bits. That's what a person is. So if I see a ghost, that's just me, but less. I can punch it.
My personal ghost perspective is usually, like, I approach it from more of a lawful angle. Of, like, okay, look, if this, for example, I went with my girlfriend this past month to a haunted experience dinner night.
Oh, yeah.
At a cool pop culture bar near us. And it's an old bar that used to be like a tavern. And they have like some rooms on their tip-top floor that like used to be bedrooms. And, it's like, 200 plus years old. So yeah, like they had a dining room set up in one of those bedrooms that was supposedly haunted. Yeah, it was a very spooky environment. And I think even at one point, like, I saw something weird happen with some of the shadows. That was a little unsettling. But I was, as a full adult, I said to myself, okay, look, if there's a ghost here, they're not like coming with me in my car. Like they're not traveling like 10, 15 miles away to my place. So I'm fine.
Here's the thing: ghost is just a person.
Yeah, he's like, what are they gonna do? Like, just walk out there?
Yeah, a ghost is just a disabled person, basically. They're just a person that is missing their body.
Yeah. So they're old and they're confused.
Yes.
It'd be like showing someone that just watched The Great Train Robbery, The Dark Knight. They'd would be unable to comprehend what's happening in front of them.
I think they'd be able to comprehend it. I think you know what? No, people are pretty dumb. You're right.
Yeah, well, perhaps more of a, like, showing them Avatar. They're like, wow, I can't believe in the future we find a planet.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see.
Yeah, you get where I'm coming from.
I'm getting it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, those were my two scary pulls, was Poltergeist and Dark Skies. My non-scary ghost and alien media was an episode of Danny Phantom and an episode of Ancient Aliens.
Let's talk about Ancient Aliens first, because they're also we'll be getting to them, don't you worry.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, I've got several books on my shelves that belong to some of the creators of that show.
So, I mean, the episode starts with a bunch of leading questions flying through a CGI space, where it's like, where are they? What did they leave behind? Why did they take the kids? I hate you, Karen. And it just gets more insane from there. Like, Eric Von Däniken comes on the screen and talks about how the aliens genetically modified a crocodile and a lion together to use as a pack animal on another planet because by genetical design, they determined that lions had tremendous muscle and power. And so they decided to create a hybrid croco-lion to use as, like, to pull a plow or something on a planet, and they're going to bring it there with their spaceship. We are 8 minutes into the program, by the way.
Yeah, we've had, there's a period of time when we would do nothing but bust laughs at their theories on that program.
And now we know that it's all true.
Yeah, they throw everything they can against the wall and see what sticks. And it turns out that they're not using a sticky substance at all.
No, they're really not. They endorsed the griffins are just a protoceratops skeleton that's broken in a very specific way theory, which I am proud to say I already actively disagreed with. And the whole episode was just, they yelled at the sky, aliens did dragons, and then they say that they are right for no reason. And for 45 minutes, they proceed to say that they're right and provide no evidence whatsoever while banging together pots and pans until the episode ends.
It's a show of of kitchen utensils.
Yeah, but what it showed me was that even a bad explanation can assuage fear. As long as the unknown is replaced with something, it isn't scary anymore. Like, we don't know anything about aliens. Aliens made dragons, and they built Great Zimbabwe, and they're God, and they're vampires, and they're ghosts, and they took my kids, and my ex-wife is an alien. Why did I marry an alien? And the aliens gave George Soros technology so that Harrison Ford could irradiate our testicles with microwave satellite transmissions.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know that aliens didn't do that, so now we know slightly more about aliens.
It's finding a scapegoat for certain problems in your life. To perceive the world, the universe, as so much larger, makes your problems not see as bad.
Yeah. I'm also no longer afraid of aliens now that I know they're just a bunch of D&D homebrew nerds.
They just kind of just shoving whatever they see together.
I just wake up on a table, and they just have, like, a copy of the DMG, and they're just looking at me expectantly. And I'm just like, okay, you're in a tavern.
Yeah, no, I think they're great creators on that show, and they have wonderful imaginations. If only that power was used for fiction.
Well, good fiction.
Yeah, never mind.
But anyway, let's move on to Daniel Phantom.
Right. I am informed that he is attempting to catch them all.
Well, it's not that he's attempting, it's just so much that he is required to do so because he is Daniel Phantom.
He's required to do so because he's Daniel Phantom.
Okay, let's get this out of the way now. Yo, Danny Phantom, he was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to view a world unseen. He's gonna catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. When it didn't quite work, his folks, they just quit. Then Dan took a look inside of it. There was a great big flash. Everything just changed as molecules got all rearranged. Phantom. When he first woke up, he realized he had snow white hair and glowing green eyes. He could walk through walls, disappear and fly. He was much more unique than the other guys. It was then that he knew what he had to do. He had to stop all the ghosts that were coming through. He's here to fight for me and you. He's gonna catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. Gonna catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. Gonna catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. I got a 2200 on my SATs, and that is the thing that I remember from the period of time between 2004 and 2013.
Yep, he's a ghost Spider-Man from a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much. And I gotta say, it holds up.
Oh, hell yeah.
The action holds up. Maybe some of the jokes and some of, like, the characters, I'm looking directly at Tucker Foley when I say this, don't really hold up super great.
Yeah.
Do cartoons still have the archetype of, like, that one character who's just really horny all the time?
I think so.
That's just one more toxic gender role that kids media puts into our heads at an early age, you know?
Yeah. That said, the particular episode that you pulled up is I like the romantic entanglements of it personally.
Oh yeah, it's an episode called "Flirting with Disaster," where Danny has to deal with the fact that he's talking to this girl who he knows to also be a ghost hunter, and meanwhile the villain, who is a new, sexier version of Gilbert Gottfried's character from an earlier episode, is trying to push them together with technology to distract him so he can put his brain in a computer.
Yep. Just like that movie Transcendence.
One thing I appreciated about Danny Phantom was that all the different villains and heroes use derivations of the same core set of ghost powers. I thought that was very good world building.
Yeah, I personally like the, singular character archetypes are not great, but the conflicts that they explore in the classic kind of high school setting are really neat.
Mm-hmm.
As our alternate selves, like, you are trying to hunt me down, but in real life we got some chemistry going on.
Oh no, yeah, it was very good.
Our molecules might get rearranged.
Yeah, I noticed that it really codifies ghost powers.
Yes.
And the same problem kind of exists in Poltergeist, where from the beginning the audience is learning how the ghosts work alongside the characters, and they're bringing in experts and stuff, and, like, it's easy to tell how the ghosts work. And in Dark Skies, the scariest piece of media that I mentioned, they didn't explain much about the Greys at all.
Now, do you think that worked, like, for their benefits or detracted from it?
For their benefit. I think the more you explain something, the less scary it becomes. Fear is the opposite of knowledge. Even if, like in Ancient Aliens, which I was halfway to saying the word in, and I changed it to if at the end, and I came up with inf. But even a bad explanation instantly sucks the fear out of anything.
Yeah, right. That's some of the flaws of later Star Wars films. What's wrong with me?
Star Wars is still about aliens, and it also has ghosts. When Yoda shows up at the end of Return of the Jedi, and in The Last Jedi, he is a ghost alien. Now, let's talk about that.
Yeah, hang on. Well, okay, so is Yoda scary at all? Ever?
He's got those teeth that are kind of scary.
Yeah, right. His the effects on him in, like, the remade episode 1 are pretty spooky.
He sort of has the energy of, like, give grandma a kiss. And, like, that's scary sometimes.
I think he's most scary, like, in episode 5. When he's, like, in the woods, this, like, crazy little creature.
You know why? We don't know anything about him then.
Absolutely. And the scariest parts about Yoda, such as his, like, how he lived for such a long period of time and what he are the scariest parts. Because I believe his like, species is still yet to be defined.
It is, yeah. I think the Mandalorian's probably going to tackle that question at some point.
Maybe, unless they know what's better for them.
Yeah, they don't. They're Disney Star Wars. They do not know what they were doing.
They expressed an interest in naming the child, or Baby Yoda, in a future, like, down the line, and they don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You are not gonna... There's no right answer to that question. He's like, oh, he's Yogu. Or, like, there's... No one's gonna... You're not gonna win.
No.
So, yeah, it's just Yoda, Yaddle, and the child. That's all we know.
That's all we know about that species, is they have those 3 names. 2 of them are Jedi. One of them can also use the Force and is a 50-year-old baby. And that's scary.
Yeah, that's real scary.
Yeah, my mom is 50. Is she a baby? Who knows?
You made a great point about Yaddle and the Jedi Council before.
I did?
It's weird that she's like the only other Yoda type, and then she's like gone from later episodes.
Only one can there be?
she got two mead.
Oh, I don't remember making that joke, and I don't like it anymore.
I then cut that.
No. I mean, it's funny. I think. No, it's not. I'm divided against myself, and I cannot stand this.
So back to Danny Phantom.
A+ cartoonery from an F- creator.
Yeah, Butch Hartman's kind of the Yaddle of kids' cartoons.
He is the creator of Yaddles. He is the creator of Yaddle-type situations.
He yaddles up the whole place.
He's bad. He's bad, man. He is bad, man. But, Poltergeist made some interesting points about how, aliens are from outer space, ghosts are from inner space. Makes sense before you think about it. So let's talk about it now before I've given you a chance to think.
My first question is what's inner space?
Yes. Next question.
I could explore that. So we were saying like that kind of middle school age when you get into this kind of thing. And it's like, aliens are supernatural, but like externally, and versus ghosts, which are supernatural, and you can, both come out at night, but one of them is. That's weird, right?
I don't know why the aliens only come out at night.
I don't know why the ghosts only come out at night.
Both good points. I mean, maybe the sun has, like, some kind of spectral power because so many people worshipped it at some point in prehistoric times? Or
maybe, like, in a primordial sense, we have such so many feelings against the night that's when we put compile all of our fears and, of otherworldly feelings.
Well, you can't see anything happening at night, so it's the unknown.
Yep, it's the unknown time of day, essentially.
Yeah, and
so you're not additionally scared by Danny Phantom, right?
No, nothing scary about Danny Phantom. Very much explicit what the ghosts are, where they're from, all that kind of stuff. So, hence, not scary. Now, here's a character that I don't know much about. Good old Edward T. Alien himself, E.T. Because this is really what sparked this whole episode. Is a while ago, I watched E.T. for the first time. I was terrified of E.T. as a child, and so I never watched the movie. And I decided I am a big grown-up right now. I am going to watch E.T. And I was right. I was completely right the whole time.
Well, we can get it into it too, but you do know that he has a name.
It's
E.T.?
It's Edward Tully, the blackfish.
It's actually Zarek. Zarek.
No, you're a bigger E.T. fan than me, as evidenced by the fact that you know his name is Zarek.
It's a mistake non-canon name, but basically, Steven Spielberg wanted to make a sequel to E.T. at one point called Nocturnal Fears.
No.
Uh-huh.
The sequel to E.T. would be F.U., right?
Yeah, you're correct. But no, the released film E.T. the Extraterrestrial is it's a story that you've heard probably many times since, about a boy and his exotic pet friend.
Yep, I've that's Harry and the Hendersons. No one throws rocks at E.T., which is disappointing.
No one says, "Get out of here!
Get out of here, E.T. Just go."
Right, but pretty much every like year there seems to come out another one. There's Axel a couple of years back. There's Monster Trucks. Like Boy and His Dog. I think it might be the official like TV Tropes title.
Monsters Inc. might be like the reverse of that.
I think you're correct. Yeah. Monsters Inc. is a reverse E.T.
Monsters Inc. is reverse E.T. That makes sense.
Wait, hang on. T-E-M-I.
Temmie?
No, T-E versus V-T. M-I, Monsters Inc.
Why?
E... E is the same number of letters away from I that T is to M?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
I think you just saw 2 word titles and we're like, hey, wait, E.T. J.P. Wait, E.T. E.B. Aaron Brockovich. Wait.
You did that moments ago. I did not start this fire.
No, I don't. No, E.T. F.U.
Yeah, no,
F comes after E.T. U comes after T. F.U. means fuck you. I think it was a solid goof. M.I. means Michigan. And besides that, nothing.
M-I-B.
Oh,
To
okay,
get rid
wait,
of those
now,
aliens, right?
now we're getting somewhere.
We should have an episode where it's devoted to us saying letters and trying to goof on that.
Right, today's episode is brought to you by the letters F, M, and R. So, speaking of MIB, the one thing I hate about E.T., A, I don't know anything about him, and he's creepy, and I hate him, and he's bad. B, this movie is anti-vax and pro-Sith, and only one of those is ethically correct.
Okay, so tell me what's going on. How did you get to that point?
So, like, a bunch of E.T. is dying, right?
Yes, that's like kind of a, what do you call it, end of second act, bad moment.
Right.
Now, E.T., I don't even remember how this happens. I think he just, like, gets lost for a bit, and he, like, falls into a puddle. And he's all gross.
Oh, he is really gross. That is really creepy image, but, like, even before that, when he's just, like, hiding in Elliot's closet, he is kind of... I think just being on Earth is bad for him. Mm-hmm. He's not on his right planet. It makes sense. He's not wearing a helmet for some reason. And then, like, some scientists show up dressed as astronauts for no reason. They start, like, they put E.T. in a lab and they start, like, examining him and trying to cure him, and Elliot's just shouting, "You're killing him," for no reason, because they're trying to help. And then E.T. dies, but he doesn't die. It's weirdly anti-doctor, that scene, and I don't understand why. Like, yeah, why is it bad that the doctors were helping E.T.?
Right. I think there's a real weird relationship with the government explored in this film. And I've expressed this before because people on the internet got mad when Steven Spielberg later re-released this film. And instead of the feds having, like, guns and stuff, they have, like, walkie-talkies.
Oh, yeah, because the cops should have guns like real cops.
Yeah, that was my... Yeah, that was my famous takeaway, is that the people want the cops to have guns, because those cops should shoot those kids.
Yeah,
that'd make a better movie.
Those cops should shoot those kids. That's what we're complaining about, right? Right, Gabe?
Yeah, right, that's what we want to happen.
That's what you're saying when you're saying the cops shouldn't have walkie-talkies, they should have guns.
Right, so
Can we talk about how E.T.'s a Sith Lord now?
But E.T. forms a what's it called, symbiotic relationship with Elliot, and I want to say that to what you said earlier about unknown things that you don't know, things that the movie doesn't tell you. There is a lot that happens about E.T. Anatomy wise, powers wise, like story wise, that is totally unexplained, and I definitely think the movie suffers for it.
Yeah, it does make things. It's like Spielberg is chasing childhood wonder, but he's landing, for me at least, squarely on childlike fear. Also, there was a cut subplot from E.T. where E.T. tries to mac on the kid's mom, because Steven Spielberg, in all of his movies, something weirdly sexual and uncomfortable happens.
Yeah.
Like in Poltergeist, there's like a bunch of construction workers hitting on the teenage daughter. In Indiana Jones and Raiders, there's a bit where, like, it implies that Indiana Jones molested Marion Ravenwood as a teen. And I love Raiders besides that.
Yeah, that's Steven Spielberg's angle. He's just like, This is the worst joke I've ever come up with.
Go ahead. I'll cut it out if it's bad enough. Don't worry.
He says to E.T., come on, man, Mac on me. Thank you. You cannot use the word Mac in an E.T. review without me having to connect those dots.
They should make a sequel to Mac and Me called Return of the Mac. And they should have that song in it. Alright, so I have cured my fear of E.T. now, as an adult, because I have learned what he is.
A big old puppet, right?
Well, okay, that doesn't fix my fear, though. I know he's a puppet. That wasn't the part I was
puppets
scared
are
of.
Scary, too.
Puppets are kind of scary a bit. Are they people or are they puppets? Who knows? But E.T.'s a Sith Lord.
Because of, okay. Well, let's walk through this. I know the Star Wars connection, right?
Yeah.
As like an Easter egg in was it episode 2 or whatever, you see it in the Senate, like, you know, there's all sorts of aliens in different little pods. One of the pods has a bunch of E.T. aliens.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And also there's a scene where E.T. recognizes Yoda as a Halloween costume when he's on Earth.
Right. Yeah.
So E.T. knows who Yoda is, or E.T. knows that Yoda is an alien. Maybe E.T. knows, like, oh, hey, it's that species that no one knows what it is, whose names all begin with the letter Y for no reason.
Yeah, actually, that does add up.
Maybe this is where they're from.
Well, you can use the long time ago in a galaxy far away to connect to the 900-year-old species of Yoda to say that, hey, you can really, you know, across the stars, and that cuts out the period of time. So we're good.
Yeah. And also, E.T. displays telekinetic abilities, which all Force users do. He manipulates...
Does that new Force healing thing from, right, Mandalorian and later Episode 9?
Kind of Force healing, but really not, though, if you think about it. Because E.T. does not form a symbiotic relationship with Elliot. E.T. forms what we call a parasitoid relationship with Elliot. No, parasite, in fact. He's draining life force from Elliot to stay alive, and manipulating his emotions into saying, like, no, like, E.T. is... Just let E.T. do whatever E.T. wants to do. You're killing him. Let him go. Let him go. E.T. isn't the puppet. E.T. is the puppeteer. He has got his hand right up Elliot's mouth hole, and he's just, like, making him talk and draining the life force out of him in like, a desperate attempt to stay alive. And then he manipulates light. He makes his fingers glow and all that stuff, and his heart glow and everything. There's that scene where he comes out of, like, the mist out of the back of the truck dressed like Jesus. He's appropriating our earthling culture to manipulate us.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. He comes out like what?
Like Jesus.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the scene when he is dressed up in drag.
No. Well, that's also problematic, but...
Yeah.
Well, that's not the part... I mean, it would be really funny if, like, Palpatine were dressed up in drag. So, he's got, like, his heart glowing, like the Sacred Heart, you know?
Yeah, right.
And he's manipulating that, and he's manipulating the Earthling mythology to...
You have to... He also really has, like, the Sith hood thing going on with that blanket.
Oh, yeah. He does. He does do that.
That's his default, like, clothing preference.
Mm-hmm. And the Jedi... at no point manipulate light in the Star Wars movies. The only people that generate light are the Sith with Sith lightning.
Okay, I see that connection.
The Jedi get their power from Stoicism, from, like, a very Buddhist, like, enlightenment, like, emptying of your mind, clarity of purpose type thing. The Sith get their power from emotion, and from the rush of power itself. And that's where E.T. gets his power, is from emotion. And he uses that power to drain life force out of a little boy. E.T. is a Sith Lord. And he gets away at the end. He's going to come back. He's gonna shoot a commercial for Comcast, and then he's going to destroy us all in the name of the Sith.
Did you there's one other connection that you're missing here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is E.T.'s favorite food?
Reese's Pieces.
Right. Why are they Reese's Pieces and not M&M's?
Because M&M's come in more than one color.
Well, I was more like they didn't get the rights to M&M's. Mars didn't want to like throw down for that.
Oh, okay.
So they basically invented a new candy for the movie, but M&M is a subsect of the Mars Corporation.
That's why aliens like it.
Aliens do not like Mars.
That's true. They did all leave. I think is the idea.
So I'm sorry, I couldn't stick that landing. I'd like to apologize to Mars and Murray.
You know who could stick that landing?
Who's that?
Another ghost alien hybrid.
All right, so we mentioned Yoda a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a second one?
The Hopkinsville Goblins.
Oh, okay.
Now, the Hopkinsville Goblins refers to an encounter that took place in Kentucky in 1955, where a couple of families of just people that had been drinking and had guns claimed they saw a bunch of glowing, quasi-owl-shaped aliens with big ears and glowing eyes. And they were, like, white and glowing and immune to gunfire in a certain way that kind of felt like they were ghosts, but also they were aliens. Like,
and to you skeptics out there, you may think that this is something that they just saw because they were drinking.
No.
But, yeah, correct. You can wipe that fear away because they also were gun owners, which sobers up a person.
Exactly true. No one's ever made a mistake. Ever.
Right. So, sorry for cutting you off. Please continue.
Oh well, no. That's about the story of how it goes. It ended with the aliens. They thought that they were angels, but to their surprise, they climbed aboard their starships and headed for the skies. This encounter, the story of this encounter...
Are you telling me that they could disappear and fly?
Oh, you know what? Well, yeah. They are ghosts. And aliens, kind of.
And they're definitely more unique than the other guy.
Anyway, Spielberg was inspired by this encounter, by this story of the encounter. I don't think Steven Spielberg was actually drunk in Kentucky in 1955. And he started producing a movie called Night Skies, which eventually spun off into two movies, E.T. and Poltergeist.
So yeah, that's the genesis, the embryo that your two films came from.
And this leads me to my final conclusion: ghosts are aliens. Aliens are ghosts. What is happening? Do we become aliens when we die? Are the Mormons right? Who knows?
Aliens are ghosts.
Aliens and ghosts are the same thing. I think that answers our central question.
Yeah, they're both nocturnal fears.
They're both nocturnal fears. Now, historically, ghosts have always made me look bad. Like,
they tie your shoelaces together.
Well, like one time I sneezed, and it was Halloween, and I sneezed, and for some insane reason, I had like a bloody nose at the same time, and so I sneezed blood on my face.
Oh.
And it would just look so creepy and weird that I decided that it was ghosts, and that ghosts were trying to make me look like a big dumb idiot with snot blood all over my face. Then there was that time when there was that field trip to Eastern State Penitentiary where I was like looking at a cell block. I was looking at a little little art installation in one of the cell blocks at this famous historic prison that has been shut down and turned into a museum in Philadelphia. And it was a field trip, and I looked down the cell block and I saw these two girls that looked like they were a little younger than me, and I was like, oh, maybe those are some freshmen. That's where my group is. And I walked all the way down to the other end, And then I realized that my group had been on the other side of the prison the whole time, in the opposite direction. So the ghosts were trying to make me look like a big dumb idiot and get separated from my English teacher.
Yeah, right. Next thing you're gonna get like a kick me sign on your back.
Absolutely. Maybe that's why I hate ghosts.
You're not afraid of them because they're big jerks.
No, I'm not afraid of them. They're big jerks.
Yeah.
I just want to. I busted makes me feel good. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, there's one last thing I wanted to talk about here.
Okay, that's not a great thing to say after that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, fair.
So you must repeat. Busted makes me feel good at the end of this statement, no matter what it is.
Aliens often, historically, supposedly, other adverbs, will
friendly,
sexually, will wipe a person's, an abductee's mind of the memory of the alien abduction, and then later the person goes to a hypnotherapist to recover that memory. And what it turns out happens is that a lot of the time the therapy itself creates and implants a false memory of this whole abduction experience, which the person goes on to believe, and then they advocate for aliens, and then they're talking at conferences, and they ruin their whole lives, or sell a book. Bustin' makes me feel good. So, my proposal, Adam.
Yes.
We're going to take this episode out by... we're going to abduct all of our listeners by showing them how scary aliens are and giving them an alien abduction memory.
All right.
So, let's just begin. Okay, take a deep breath.
This is a present time thing, or is it a past thing? This is the present.
This is the present, but this happened in the past. Deeper and deeper. Okay, I want you to think about a cold... Forest. Think about a cold forest. Okay, that's going to be our focus. It's the cold forest. Just think about being in a forest. It's very cold. It's snowy. Maybe you're bundled up in snow gear. You're looking up at a bright white sky. There's naked trees grabbing at the sun.
They're not sexy.
They're not sexy trees, no. Just regular trees that you wouldn't want to have sex with. You don't want to have sex with the trees. It's a white sky. It's cold.
They're great-grandmother trees.
Great-grandmother trees. Pocahontas
they're naked
style.
And you don't want to look.
Don't look at the trees. Okay. Close your eyes, feeling completely and totally relaxed. You have a feeling, it starts in your toes and it crinkles your nose. And you are in a room. And you are lying on a table. You look around. What do you see?
Two tall figures.
Two tall figures.
With bodies that do not make sense to you.
Absolutely, they don't. No,
they've got snow white hair and glowy green eyes.
Their ability to walk through walls and disappear or fly is not evident at this moment, but the snow white hair and glowing green eyes definitely is. One of them has a knife.
Although it doesn't look like a knife.
No, it looks like a glowing pink Green Lantern looking like spectral thing.
But you know it's a knife somehow.
Somehow you know it's a knife. And this creature, this force, cuts a strange symbol in your chest and draws forth a glowing pyramid-shaped object. And you feel no pain, you feel no force, you have no control over your body.
But you feel a loss.
You do feel a strong sense of loss.
You don't know what you had, but it's not there anymore.
No.
You feel empty and hollow, like the naked forest you were in moments ago.
No. The other alien, the other figure, the one that didn't have a knife, gently touches your face. The one with the knife makes a sound that sounds like, and you can tell that it means something like, "What are you doing?" And then the one that touches your face is like, which is like, "What's right?" And he just touches the air like Minority Report, and a monitor shows up, and one of the walls just disappears, and there's a sudden rush of air, and the other one flies out of the room, and then the one that was with you closes the door again and pushes back down on the pyramid, pushing it back into your chest. Your wounds heal behind it.
You feel that one again accepts wrong somehow.
But so right.
But so wrong.
But so right.
But so wrong.
The alien is getting closer to your face with its face.
You can feel it breathing, or whatever it is that is similar to breathing.
And this alien starts fucking you so right. But you're okay with it. You're okay with it.
You're into it.
You're definitely into it. It's okay. It's if you're saving yourself for marriage, it's okay. It doesn't count if it's an alien. God lives in heaven. Heaven's where clouds are. You're past the clouds. There's no God up here. You can fuck this alien.
You feel like you can disappear and fly and walk through walls.
Absolutely. You feel like that's capable of what you're doing. And then all of a sudden, you wake up. That's $45.
Only 45?
Hypnotherapy.
All right. So, let's travel to our final rating place.
Absolutely.
We're going to put this topic to bed.
This is going to be our vote. What do you give ghosts? What do you give aliens?
I'm going to give Ghosts a measly 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
I get it, but I'm not impressed.
All right. I'm going to give him a 2.
That's nothing.
No.
Not even a bit of a monster.
No, I know people that are worse than a 2, and a ghost is a person, but worse. So, yeah. I think that's fair. Aliens.
Aliens.
How scary?
Ooh. Just because I feel there's a very sterility that we definitely had in that scene. That even, like, a doctor's office uncomfortableness. And it doesn't matter which kind of aliens you throw around, be they xenomorphs or, Yokians. But there's something off about them that gives them at least a 7 in my book. Okay.
My take is there was nothing sterile about what happened in that scene. I think the aliens as a 7 makes total sense, but I think maybe they're just missing just a little bit. Not quite one whole rating, but just.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at that Freudian slip.
My whole life is a Freudian slip. At this point, I have anti-Freudian slips.
You're just passing out those slips, every time you go into a room.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just be talking about something sexy, and then I'll accidentally say something about bread. It's an anti-Freudian slip. I'm gonna give the aliens a 6.9 out of 10.
All right.
That means that, okay, so, ghosts get a 6 out of 20. Aliens, 13.9. We have a winner, folks.
Yeah, aliens are clearly the scarier of the two.
Aliens are scarier than ghosts.
Now, now that we've settled that, won't you join us next time as we travel to our final Halloween destination? A big old spooky house with off walls and gothic angles.
And if you feel as though you died a long time ago and your soul is still trapped on this plane, you can't move, you can't think, all you can do is moan and wail. You can walk through walls, disappear and fly, but to what end? To what end? You feel alone. You feel cold. You feel like the world is your doctor's office alien hole, where the aliens come and they poke you with instruments and you're not sure what they're doing, but you just feel tortured and forever lost. If you feel that, then you can follow us on Twitter.
Monster Right Pod. So
at twitter.twit. Yep.
Thank you for listening. See you next time.
And remember, vote boo no matter who.